I'm EdwardStarcraft, and here we are at the GameClucks Seattle StarCraft 2 tournament. And here we are in the semifinals, in this best out of 3 between red Terran player at the bottom left-hand position, who is Sterling, up 1.10 against his opponent, spawning at the top right-hand position as the random Terran player. He's pink, by the way. He's pink. Now here, this is the map, MLG Xel'Naga Caverns and PicNic. He tried to play a straight-up game, him versus Sterling. Him using the Eye at Coke build, and Sterling, I guess the tank marine build, but he modified it. He modified it a lot as soon as he realized his opponent was going for the Eye at Coke. And Sterling took a commanding lead, even after being contained for a while. And this game, I'm curious to see what PicNic will do, because, you know, we've seen PicNic for the last few hours, and we know that PicNic, he loves his early aggression. He really loves it. And here, Sterling, I mean, he's really a macro Terran player. We've seen him against quite a few other Terrans. I mean, both players have been ranked in the top 200 of the Blizzard list. Sterling currently a Grandmaster player, but PicNic not currently in the Grandmaster League. But anyways, Sterling opening up rather normally. However, we do notice that Sterling is not getting a refinery, so I believe he's going to go for a 1 barracks fast expansion at the same time. PicNic getting his refinery, and he might be doing a fast tech build yet again. Fast tech builds are very powerful in Terran versus Terran, especially if your opponent is fast expanding. You know, go for Blue Flame Hellions, go for Banshees, go for an early tank push. Any sort of tech is good if your opponent is going for an economical build, because they'll be stuck on those low tier units. Everyone knows that tier 3 units totally decimate tier 1 units. Now PicNic building a bunker at the front of his ramp. Sterling going to try to take it down. He's not going to. I'm imitating Total Biscuit for a second, but now I'm not. Yeah. Yep. So, PicNic moving around very curiously. He's trying to scout for proxies right next to his opponent base. Just kidding. He might be proxying something over here, actually. So here we go. Factory coming down for PicNic, and I feel like he's going to go for a proxy starport. And this might be very, very powerful, because here's the thing. Here is the thing. When you memorize, when you kind of know inherently, like, oh yeah, after I do about this, then this is about when my opponent gets Banshees to my base. You know, and you think, well, my opponent, you know, he's probably building his starport in his base. You know, you have this inherent timing memorized in your brain that's like, okay, I think at about this minute mark, at about this position, my opponent's going to get something to my base. But if you proxy a starport, like maybe, I don't think PicNic's doing it anymore, but if he built a starport, let's say over here, or over here in his opponent's natural, then he could have just messed up. Come 20 seconds earlier, before Sterling might have like a missile turret or something like that, just to be safe, and just lose outright. Now Sterling scouting around with one of his Marines. It walks straight past this SCV. I'm not sure if Sterling actually saw that, because you have to be very vigilant about watching your minimap, and he's very good about scouting around the map, making sure there's no cheese. And I guess this SCV just going in just to scout what Sterling's up to, and I don't think PicNic got too much information. He did see that command center, however, which is always very good for PicNic. You know that your opponent's doing something. And here, Sterling, he's actually hidden his factory, kind of. It's not too hidden, but it's a bit hidden. And I think he's going to go for a siege tank expand, which, you know, PicNic has no idea about right now. And this could be very devastating. Now, PicNic actually going for siege tanks of his own. He's not going to do the Eye at Coke build today. Not going to do it at all, and actually marching around 4 Marines in a very weird attack pattern. Very weird attack path, that is. And 2 Marines and 1 tank. You know, you don't have to send an escort with your tank. Tanks are very powerful. That's what PicNic is thinking. He's actually scouting around for proxies himself. Look at both players' map vision. I mean, there's like, PicNic hasn't scouted as much of the map, but Sterling, there's like no portion of the map that he hasn't really scouted, except this this giant hole in the middle, this bottomless pit, and this area which no one really proxies anything in. maybe someone from the GSL will like listen to this cast and be like, oh yeah, you know what, I'm gonna proxy over there since no one's expecting. Yeah. Well, here we go. Sterling building a complete wall off. PicNic, Siege Tech finishing in another 10 seconds, and he can execute a very nice contain on Sterling. Take a look at harvester count, and Sterling is ahead by 3 harvesters. But here we go. PicNic putting up his tank, taking pot shots on this orbital command. And Sterling having to repair this. That's probably not the thing he wants now. Sterling, he does have a Viking, and he's going to be able to repel this one medevac. You don't want to lose your medevac. But at the same time, PicNic, he has a Marine, so he's going to be able to try to repel these Vikings. Both players trying to get the better position on each other. Players trying to not engage until they're ready. And now PicNic with one of his own Vikings, he can try to take out Sterling's Viking, and that would be terrible for Sterling. Now Sterling trying to get Siege Tech of his own to hold off the Siege Tanks. It's kind of like a cannon rush, you know? You get cannons of your own to hold off cannons, but these cannons can move. And now here, PicNic moving in with his Siege Tanks. Sterling still without Siege. He could just die outright to this. And here we go, PicNic doing some damage in Sterling's base. He's going to kill the Tech Lab before Stim finishes, and he's taking out a few harvesters over here. This is not looking good for Sterling at all. Siege Tech finished just right now for Sterling, and he's going to be able to siege up his tanks, probably take out these Marines. And here we go, pot shots on the Marines from these tanks. They do have a bit of range. PicNic needs to pick up his Marines before all is lost, but he loses every single one of his Marines, and Sterling has fended off this push just very, very well. And I'm not sure why Sterling's actually sieging up one of his tanks, because unsieged tanks actually take out siege tanks very well. Very, very exciting Viking battle. PicNic arriving with some reinforcements. Sterling needs to siege up. No, he's not going to siege up. And now with so few units over here, PicNic may actually be able to take this. And here we go. PicNic re-sieging up his tanks, taking some pot shots on these tanks. PicNic actually did not siege up his tanks. He loses one. He has one more, but is he going to lose that as well? And he does lose this other tank. I call things like a few seconds ahead, but you know, that's because there's a velocity. You know the position and velocity of all of these units, and whoa there, Sterling actually has one of his tanks stuck over here. Not quite the position you want to be in if you're under such immense pressure from your opponent. But if Sterling manages to hold this off, he's actually going to be in a decent position, because his expansion coming up a bit sooner than PicNic. But PicNic now going to float his expansion out to his natural. And if PicNic starts actually mining for that, PicNic's going to start skyrocketing ahead. Now, PicNic still doesn't have too many troops, and I'm worrying about this, because if he commits too many troops, loses his army, then it's going to be difficult for him to come back, and he's vulnerable to a counterattack. But more reinforcements streaming in. I feel like he's going to be able to contain Sterling yet again. I don't know why Sterling didn't actually push out when he had the chance, when his stuff got cleared out. But now, ooh, one Marine at a time marching straight into Sterling's base. Sterling just taking out these Marines. Ooh, look at this guy's head just flying right over here. But anyway, so Sterling, he's actually building a bunch of barracks, and this is quite a few more than I believe he can support on one base. So I'm curious to see what he's trying to do with these barracks. He does not have stim for his Marines as well. He's going to try to bum rush his opponent. This could work. I mean, Marines streaming in one at a time. You saw actually those tanks took out those Marines relatively slowly, so it could work. Vikings killing Vikings, Marines attacking Vikings, and ooh, PicNic stuck. And this is the worst position to be stuck on, this ramp. Just continuing to pump out some Marines, but PicNic still with these tanks. And it looks like PicNic gonna try to take out this one tank. This tank lowering in health really quickly, because PicNic does not have air control. And Sterling, he breaks this contain, or he's going to sit here. Scan, wait for that scan. Always a decent option before you move out. You don't want to walk your Marines, your tanks into certain death. And now here we go, Sterling just running all of his units unsieged, but he's going to lose 2 of his tanks. He manages to take out this containment. PicNic still with some units at his own base, but here Sterling now able to float out this and he is slightly ahead in supply. That's why you actually see a lot of players, you know, they contain someone for a while, they seem like they're doing a good job at containment, and they just suddenly pack up and leave. Because you don't, you know, after a certain amount of time, you don't want to be sitting there on the low ground. But here now, PicNic pushing out, hoping to meet his opponent in the middle of the map, and here we go. Looks like we might have a confrontation, or no, Sterling decides just to walk straight around. And someone's messaging me, telling me the stream is lagging or down. Let me check the stream. Another battle over here. Sterling taking out, and it seems like the stream is working just fine for me. So I don't know what to tell you guys. Just deal with it. Because we're casting this game here, and now Sterling breaking through this, establishing a very nice counterattack, because PicNic, he seriously just overstayed his welcome. And now here, Sterling going to take out every single one of these SCVs. These SCVs going to try to take out the tanks. That one tank may actually go down, but seriously, that was a lot of damage to PicNic's units. If we take a look at workers killed, not as many as I thought. As many as I thought. I actually thought Sterling killed a lot more workers, but if you take a look at income, now Sterling ahead by 12 harvesters to PicNic. He's streaming in some reinforcements. Actually still doesn't have stim. He's just pumping out 10 marines at a time. Oh, he does have stim. He does have stim. He just never used it. That's weird. Now PicNic setting up his tanks over here at the front of his base again, and Sterling taking a page out of the EdwardStarcraft book. He's just massing marines. Third base going up for Sterling. This is a very high economy sort of build, but it will work when you have more units than your opponent. And here, I mean, Sterling just with you know, greater number of harvesters, greater amount of army. Wow, as I say that, PicNic has more army supply, but yeah. Drop coming in for PicNic, trying to take out a few units, but Sterling, he has this one tank over here, doing not much damage. At the same time, PicNic still building up his forces at the front. Sterling, nice concave on the destructible rocks, and be able to maximize his DPS against those destructible rocks and clear them out very, very quickly. Now here, Sterling still has vision. He sees this push coming in for PicNic, and the thing is that, you know, you want to catch tanks unsieged. And so now Sterling, if he can catch his opponent unsieged in the middle, take out those tanks, he has a greater marine count than PicNic, and I think he'll do a very nice job. Now Sterling, he's also setting up a sensor tower at the back of his base so he can catch any drops from his opponent, which I think will be really nice. And now, you know, even though that the supply counts show themselves as even, you can see with Sterling's lead in the harvester count, and with his third base before his opponent, that's going to help him a lot. Now PicNic, he doesn't need a concave to take down destructible rocks. He's just going to bring in brute force with his tanks, his medevacs to help heal. You know, he can even just stim to take down those dastardly tanks. Now PicNic going to try pushing in straight over here to Sterling's third, but a planetary fortress is nearly morphed in. Now PicNic stimming in his units, trying to take down this planetary fortress, and it does not go up. Sterling losing a lot of his SCVs, and PicNic ahead on SCVs yet again. Sterling going for the counterattack, and this could be very deadly, stimming in some of his units, taking out this one tank. And now we might actually have a base race here on our hands, but who will be ahead in this base race? And with this hidden supply depot, I think, I don't know, I'm just joking around. Now PicNic's pulling all of his harvesters, running away from his base. Now Sterling trying to take down whatever he can over here in PicNic's base. Taking down some marines, taking down this one command center, taking down this other command center. PicNic going to be command centerless very, very soon. Sterling losing one of his command centers over here as well, pulling off a lot of his SCVs. I don't know who's going to be ahead, but Sterling with all of his barracks still in his main base, he can, well, he might be even able to hold off his main base, so I think this actually may favor Sterling. But now PicNic setting up camp over here on the left side, right outside of sensor tower range. Very nice by PicNic. And now Sterling still trying to hold off his main base. And PicNic has not cracked it yet. So PicNic trying to go perhaps for a drop with his units. The problem is all that anti-air, and now Sterling floating away all of his buildings. He's going to... Is he going to spot it? No, he is not going to spot this. That's not good. And here comes the drop from PicNic. There are a lot of Marines over here, so if Sterling catches this, I don't know, it's going to be very difficult even to catch that many medevacs off. And PicNic just using this for vision. You could drop Marines one at a time. Okay, or you don't have to do moving drop. You can just rely on brute force. And there's Sterling finally realizing that this is going on, trying to take out these Marines one by one, pulling all of his SCVs. At the same time, all of these floated barracks. Sterling still has no idea about this base on the left-hand side. And now PicNic still, he has it broken straight into Sterling's main base. He needs to lift that, but I think Sterling will lose this command center. That's not going to be good at all. At the same time, what happened to the rest of Sterling's army? It is now back in Sterling's main base, and here he goes, taking down the last one of PicNic's units. No more army left for PicNic at all, and I think Sterling has taken this decisively. He just needs to find this last command center, but PicNic, he does not have any more production buildings. And here, congratulations to Sterling. We haven't seen a GG though yet. Here we have a scouting SCV from Sterling, and here we go. PicNic morphing in a planetary fortress as quickly as he can. Sterling rushing all of his units straight to PicNic's base, but that planetary fortress, if it morphs in, Sterling has to push a bit slower. Either he stims in and goes now, or he waits for a long time, and I think he's going to wait. At the same time, Sterling floating around his command center just to make sure it's not in danger, and Sterling finally allowing PicNic to get his planetary fortress out. He doesn't care. He has one tank up, taking out that one whatchamacallit. And here we go. PicNic losing supply, losing health on his planetary fortress very slowly. Ooh, nice positioning on those Marines. Very, very cool. Taking out those SCVs one at a time. Sterling really playing it defensively since he doesn't know what PicNic has left. He has scouted all the other positions though. So he actually lifted his command center to the gold, so maybe he can land these, build more Marines. Yeah. How weird would that be? Now we have a few Marines from the backside taking out these harvesters one by one. Nice positioning on Sterling's part. Ooh, that only one. And there's the GG from PicNic. Congratulations to Sterling for taking this series 2-0 and advancing to the finals of this game. Congratulations to Sterling. And here we go. PicNic is going to move into the lower bracket